Morning everyone, it's Saturday 27th of January and we're going to Acorn for the Winter League. I've not caught a fish for 3 weeks, so I'm really looking forward to this today. Last week I had the first round of Sedge's Silver League, but it was cancelled due to the ice being so thick, and that's the first round has now been scheduled for tomorrow, so looking forward to that as well. We did fish the fourth round of the Acorn Winter League a few weeks back, and I drew peg 29. I don't think anybody on the home match would argue it's probably the worst peg on the lake, and I blanked. I don't think I blanked since I was a kid, but we blanked. We had loads of room, tried every trick in the book, or everything I could think of, and never had so much as a liner. Kev on 31 to my left had one skimmer. Chap to my right on 26, so loads of room, isn't it? 26 round to me, 29, loads of room. He's had two tiny carp, and the next two to his right have both blanked as well, and it was just one of those, so that's me dropper out the way. But in fairness, if I caught a couple of fish, it wouldn't have made a lot of odds. All the fish at the time were between 34 and 40, all of which were in our section. So yeah, all of which were in our section. It wouldn't have made a blind bit of difference. So onwards and upwards, round 5, can't afford any more mistakes. Although that blank is me dropper, I was amazed when I looked. I think I'm still sort of 4th or 5th in the league, but that's just sort of hanging on to the bottom of it again, isn't it? We really do need a draw today. We're in the good section, but it's been cold again. I got it this morning, fan was all frozen up. We've had it a little bit milder in the week because we had a bit of a cold snap last night, so I don't know how that's going to affect it. A lot of ice water from last weekend have gone into the water as well. So we'll just have to suck it and see. Pegs we want in the section really are 5, 9 and 12. 5, 9 and 12 are the dominant pegs. We got out of jail last time, if you remember, when we broke the ice and we were on peg 10. That would probably be my next choice, and we did come second. But so I'll see you down there. I'm just going to go in the bridge now and have some breakfast, then we'll get down there and have a draw. And wherever we draw, we'll try our best anyway. But we're in the section, the good section, so I imagine we're not certainly not going to blank anyway. Or we certainly hope not. I mean, blank twice on the trot and then got to chuck it in. But see you down there. Cheers. Well done, Mark. Well fished, mate. Good section win, mate. Well done. Earned. Hopefully. Acorn Winter League, round 5. Straight across with the dobbin rig. Not fed anything anywhere. Got me bit of bread on the hook. Straight across. Tried to get in there before everybody else and just see if we could find a fish. 10 minutes later, nothing. So just going to feed a little bit of bait on that second shelf on our 13-meter line, and then we'll look at just putting a little like thumbnail, literally a thumbnail of stodgy little sloppy ground bait on that deep line at 11 meters off to our right.
and it'll have a couple of pinkies in it, and that's it. I mean, with these commercials, especially these snake lakes, when you look at them, they're full of fish, and they're not very big. They're not very wide. You're never that far from a fish. You put some bait in, they back away quickly this time of year. You're never more than sort of a meet. If I put that bait in, I'll bet you that's not more than a couple of meters away from a fish. So, tiny bit of bait. Just priming these lines with a little tiny bit, because we didn't catch dobbin straight away, and I might want those lines earlier than I thought. Dobbin with the bread's been really strange down here this year. As you can see there, we've just hooked one, but when I have caught the odd one dobbin with the bread, it's really been quite close to the boards, which is quite surprising. Normally you'd expect them to be sort of on the second shelf or a bit further away, but that's not been the case. So first fish on. Been a while since we've had a fish. We've caught a fish, as I was saying earlier. Not had a fish for sort of 3 weeks, so nice to hook one, and let's hope we land it.
I think so, mate, to be honest. 200 cents, yeah, I think so. I might stand her up a bit. Rock bottom, I'll pick rock bottom. Oh no, might not be.
Absolutely love fishing, but it can be very cruel this time of year, as you all know. 3 weeks ago in the 4th round, as we mentioned earlier, we completely blanked. Never even had a liner. Never had a chance. Anyway, that dobbin across, we're on 012 on that. Nice big hook though, 16808. Nice big wide gape hook, but only a little piece of bread. I tried 8mm first of all to see if something sort of snaffled that quickly. It didn't, so we went on to 6mm. Just a single piece of 6mm as well, not double. They do seem to prefer smaller pieces down here. I'm starting to wonder, 6 is the smallest I've got in my sort of Preston punch kit, and I do wonder if I should bring my old canal punches, brass head punches down here and start looking at 4s. Sort of a double piece of 4 or something. And there's our second one. Obviously we've cut a considerable amount of time out. This second one is about 40 minutes in. As you can see, lovely still day at the moment. They do become trickier to catch here though when it is still, I have to say, but it is easy to present, and you can dot things down, and you can see everything so much easier. You're not struggling in the wind, etc., but the fishing definitely gets trickier. Now, there was a match in the week on here on the Tuesday, I believe, and it was won with £30. And I think this peg had £13 in that match, and all the ice that was on the lake is melted and gone to the bottom of the lake, because it's that heavier, colder water, and I'm expecting this to be a low weight affair, to be honest, which is a good thing, because we've not drawn well in the section. It gives us a chance. If it was fishing all right, if it stayed mild and we didn't have the code snap we had last night as well, and not all that ice water in there, I think you'd be looking at 80-90 pound, and there's just no way I'm going to catch that out of this peg, I don't believe. So always try, of course, but so that's it across. After an hour's dobbing, and we're on to the second shelf, where we've put in a tiny bit of micro and a tiny bit of maggot. Fishing double maggot over it, and nothing. So we're on the 11-metre line over that tiny thumbnail ground bait, and there you go. Double pinky, that is double fluoro pinky. And the hook length is actually 0.9, so it is quite light. We're looking for silvers as well. And when you tend to hook carp in the deep water, they don't tend to run off like they do when you hook them in shallower water. And with orange hydro as well, I'd expect to get anything out given time. And I think it could be a case that I don't want to waste an hour. I mean, I've used an hour now dobbing. I don't want to waste a couple of hours in the match and suddenly realise, oh, we should have fished a bit lighter and we might have had a few more bites, because I do believe every fish is going to count today. I quite enjoy a hard match like this sometimes, especially as long as you make the odd bite, isn't it? I mean, this is obviously very hopeful because we've actually had a bite over bait on bait. Brilliant, something to work with, isn't it? And the rig we're using for this is 016 mainline. We got a 4B14 Preston F1 maggot, is it? Float carbon stem. So quite a nice bristle to sort of see as well. What I think they were about. They might have 1 point. Are they 1.5 or 1.2? I think they're about 1. I think they're 1.5. I'm not too sure. But you can see them really easily, especially just dark black in the float in the white water is perfect, isn't it? There's no better scenario in the winter, is there? Any colours, with reflection is just a nightmare this time of year on some venues. So we had that fish. Nothing really happened after, so I fed a little tiny bit in there again, and I opened up another line, 11 meters, exactly the same depth, straight across in front, at the bottom of the far shelf. Sort of hoping to keep one or two fish coming between the two lines. And it seems to have rewarded us because we've caught one now. It's a nice stamp skimmer. Again, just double pinky. So there's a little thumbnail ground bait again on that line across in front of us on that 11 meter line, and then we switched round to the right hand line, which we topped up earlier and gone over that. We're not sort of feeding and going straight on it. We're feeding it and 10 minutes later going on it. And it feels like another good fish. I knew the tench were in this area as well. Sort of, they've been sort of the bridge pegs are just off to me right. Pegs 33, 34 along to sort of peg 3 to my left. The tench have been along this little bit of straight, so I knew it might be worth targeting them in the deep water with a little something. And this feels like a second big tench. Very handy today on a hard day. Well, that was a great little bonus. I genuinely didn't expect them to be on that second shelf so close as this. Um, this peg sort of goes back round the corner, um, and you've got a second shelf inside and across. Um, but it might seem a bit funny from how you can see the wind, but the trip is actually when I drop my rig in there down the right hand side, I've only got a little 3x10 float in about 3.5 foot of water, which may seem really light, but I wanted a slow drop on that maggot. I also wanted it to where it if when I'm sat round there to the right, if you can imagine my right to left is tripping like that. So it's trying to drag the float, if you like, back out into the open water there that you can see in front of me. And that's how it's tripping. So what I've done is sort of lowered the rig in on that shelf, just flicked it out past the shelf, let it come in really slowly, and then I'm sort of easing it along the shelf almost to a point, and then holding it before it goes off the end, and it sort of it really is towing surprisingly hard, and that maggot is just lifting off that bottom and back down off that bottom, and that bit of movement seems to be turning on an odd fish that's present. I'm surprised from there, as I say, very lucky really, to be honest. um, but yeah, great sign. And it's got quite cold as well. That wind, the temperature's definitely dropped, so I'm even more surprised there. Yeah, I didn't really expect these fish to be on this second shelf inside because they simply weren't on the second shelf across. But across was a little bit deeper. Across is probably about 4 foot, and down here to my right is about 3.5 foot. I can't stress that enough about depths. I think I've mentioned that before on some of my videos, especially in like Snake Lakes and even this venue. I think I've mentioned it that you must cover all your depths. If you've got 3 foot and a chance 3.5 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, make sure you've got a rig for all those depths because it's massive. what those fish want to sit in depth-wise is what they want to sit in, especially this time of year. Also believe they were present there as well, mind. I mean, I've had no liners or anything across, but this one's pulling a bit, pulling down the arm to be right, and I'm asking somebody else if they'd like to net it for me there. But yeah, the rig we're using, like I said before, 3B10, but it's a rube, so I got a nice thick 2mm bristle, but I can dot it down to whatever I want. It's 016 mainline, and the hook length is only 01. That might sound really light to some people, no doubt, but along with white hydro, I don't have a problem landing them at all. So for me, you know, it's about getting the bite. If you don't get the bite, it don't matter how hard or how soft you're playing a fish, does it? If you don't get the bite, that's it. I mean, if I started really bagging or felt like somebody else was pushing me in the section, you know, I got to step up my kit and up my game, if you like, then I can't I? But if you start heavy, by the time you realise you've got to go lighter, it's generally too late. If you start light and you realise you've got to go heavier, it's simple, isn't it? If I lose one fish or get broke, I'll step up. But it hasn't happened yet today. And every fish counts, doesn't it? You know, I've said this before, but especially this time of year when it's a low weight affair, it's about getting the bite, then take your time. Get the fish out, make them count. And it's nice fishing, it's nice slow thinking fishing. I enjoy that sometimes, you know, we all love bagging in the summer, but I enjoy the winter as much. Mind you, time the winter's ended, I'm always looking forward to the summer, and by the time the summer's ended, I'm always looking forward to the winter, so. And there you are, we've dropped down on that line in front, and we've even managed one there, and we've really only gone in there to rest that edge, so that's a bit of a bonus, isn't it? Feels like it might be going our way a little bit today, which is a nice change after the other week. Lovely. Only a small fish, but very welcome. Bag. That's me, yeah. I am, you know. 28 and 1.
What about your silvers on that?
No.
No? Solid.
I've got another carp net there as well. I've got one in it. Only a little.
39 1.
39 1.